Hi, ladybugs. How we doing? So I thought we'd do something a little different today, a little fun. Tiny, go lay down. One of the things I had bought my kids when they were little, I hope everybody's doing good, by the way, and everybody's having a good day. I'm having an okay day. One of the things I had bought my kids when they were little was these ology books. I don't know if you guys have heard of them, but no, go lay down. Here's an example of like some of the books. Let me show you. Hold on. So they have dragonology, oceanology, mythology, Egyptology, wizardology, another wizardology book, Fairy-Apollos. And anyway, we have a bunch of these books. I actually bought a bunch of them when my kids were little. I really enjoy them, and I'll show you why. And my kids enjoyed them too when they were little. I brought up the 3 fairyology books that I have because they're just fun to. They're like diaries. But they're interactive. It's like if somebody did a scrapbook. Like it's supposed to be, the idea behind it is like, here's the Fairy-Opolis book. First of all, it's a gorgeous book. But it says a flower fairy's journal. So this is basically like back in the, I don't know how long ago, but it's supposed to be like the 1800s or something, where like a scientist or a researcher would keep a journal, you know? So you've got like letters and entries and spilled ink and like little flowers taped to it. So these are really cool books. They have things that move and you can show other things. And I'm going to read a little bit from one of these books, but I just wanted to show you how pretty they are. See, like here's another little book in there. And don't have all the ology books, but we do have quite a few of them. Like here's a map of Sussex where they supposedly have found fairies. Let me show you. Hold on, I'm trying to get that open. Oh, maybe that's as far as it opens. Anyway, so it's kind of an interactive book. They're fun for kids. They have like piratology and wizardology, and we have a lot of dragonology books because I had a daughter who loved dragons. But you can tell that it looks like little drawings and little entries. It's like a diary, you know, like a journal that a scientist would keep. Like in here, I'll show you. In this little envelope here, it says extremely delicate, almost transparent in parts. And this is supposed to be a piece of a fairy wing. Now, obviously, it's not really a fairy wing, you know, because fairies aren't real. But it's cool for kids to be able to have these little tactile, interactive parts of books. And I was going to share some of the other ones with you guys at some point. I just thought it'd be fun to show you some of these books. They are beautifully done. They're fun for kiddos. I enjoy them, and I'm not a kiddo, but you can see they have beautiful, and like, I'll give you an example of one of the entries. Like this one says July 23rd. The last 2 weeks have been such a whirlwind of activity that my something journal, I can't read what that says, has been completely neglected. Dulcie and I have had the time of our lives, spending our days swimming, cycling, and hiking. Seeing Dulcie playing near the stream has inspired me to sketch and write about another flower fairy, the beautiful willow fairy. And then there's a drawing of the willow fairy, you know? And then here's another one, August 2nd. It was Dulce's final evening last night. I was putting her to bed when she piped up with, "Do you believe in fairies?" I responded with a tentative, "Well, some people do." She replied, "I believe in fairies. I can feel them all around me. This is a magical place." I would have liked to talk with her longer, only she fell asleep immediately. I sat for several hours mulling over her words. I am quite shaken. Collected my photographs from the studios today. Some lovely snaps of Dulcie, but one in particular has thrown me into dismay. What is that in the corner of the picture? And here's the picture he's talking about. So it's like a journal, and I'm not sure which corner. I think down here there's something. Oh, right there. Looks like a little fairy. But these are really beautiful books, and they're really fun for kids because it's like you're listening to a fairy researcher. Like here's another interactive part. It's a letter. And you can see how beautiful the illustrations are in these books. The piratology, the wizardology, the dragonology, they're all just as good. Here's another little interactive part. Here's another one. This one says The Secret of the Fairy Ring, and then it has another little story in here. I'll read this to you. In some parts of the West Country, folk tales describe nighttime fairies who ride young horses in circles around fairy wings. Rings appear to have a link with fairyland. A person who steps in the ring is suddenly able to see the fairies dancing and hear their sweet music. This can be so entrancing that those who experience it lose all sense of time and will stay dancing with the fairies while they are pulled away. In some parts of the country, stepping into a fairy ring will bring good luck. In others, it will bring misfortune. A fairy ring is a place where fairies meet to dance. All fairies adore dancing, and they particularly enjoy leaping and bounding in circles. Legend says that the rings themselves are created from marks that fairies make on the grass during their energetic circular dances. Fairy rings are found in woods, fields, and appear as rings of dark grass or circles of mushrooms, or a combination of the two. The grass within the ring is usually a bright, lush shade of green. So that's kind of fun. And it also helps your kids learn to read cursive, because all these ology books are written in cursive. It's pretty understandable cursive. It's not, difficult to read. But if your kids are having trouble reading cursive, but you can see how absolutely stunning these books are. I just thought it'd be fun to do something different and kind of take a look. Here's a little collection of stories. The Tales of Grateful and Helpful Fairies. It's always fun to do something different, kind of expand our interests a little bit. A Welsh legend tells of an unlucky farmer who seemed to have nothing but misfortune. His crops became diseased and his cattle were ailing. Well as this, his wife was an invalid who could do nothing to help out about the house or farm. The farm was was about to sell up when he was visited by Ailil, a Welsh elf, who told him to be troubled no longer. All he need do was ensure his wife left out a lighted candle and swept the fire clean every night. The Elion would do the rest. The next night, the couple went to bed early. They could hear the sounds of laughter and merriment coming from the ground floor. In the morning, the house was neat as a new pin, and the livestock was healthy and well. Every night, the same thing happened. The crops prospered, and the invalid wife grew fit and strong. The couple's good fortune continued for 3 years until the wife grew eager for a glimpse of the little folk. She tiptoed downstairs and peeped through the door. When she saw the merry band of elves about their work, she couldn't help but laugh out loud. At once, the candle was blown out and everything became silent. The elves never came back to the farm, but fortunately, the couple's ill fortune never returned either. Here's something called the begging fairy. A poor woman who had very little to eat gave a begging fairy a measure of her meal. The fairy returned the meal in due course, and throughout the long, hard winter, the woman's meal bin never ran dry. The fairy baby. A poor man was driving his only sheep to market, passing through a desolate spot when suddenly a great clamor arose. He could not see anything, but could hear something being shouted above the uproar. Oh, there's a burn born, but neither to pit on't. The man realized that the fairies were celebrating the birth of a fairy baby, but also bemoaning the fact that they had no clothes for it. The kind-hearted fellow took off his cloak and threw it to the ground. It was snatched away, and the sounds of rejoicing could be heard. And he went on his way to market. Once there, he sold his sheep for an unusually high price. Good luck was bestowed upon him for the rest of his life, and he became a wealthy man. The broken ped. A farm laborer was crossing a moor when he heard the sound of someone crying. He came across a child's ped, and in parentheses it says a spade, broken in half. He stopped to mend it, all the while not noticing that he was standing close to a barrow called Pixie Mound. When he was finished, he put down the mended ped and went on his way. Later that day, when he passed the spot again, the ped was gone, and a freshly baked cake had been left in its place. The man ate it and found it delicious. He went on to live a long and prosperous life. And then you can see here's another beautiful page. It says paid in full. I'm not sure what this is. Let's see, Storrington Village Feet. Looks like it's a fair, the fairy fair, yeah. And then you have like this little envelope here, which has glitter in it that they're calling fairy dust. You can rub your finger on it and feel it. Here's the book. It's a beautiful book. All the ology books are beautiful. Here's some spilled ink and another card you can lift up and read the front and the back. And some of these, excuse me, fairyology books are, oh, you got to see this, are pop-up books, which are really gorgeous. So I wanted to show you guys this because I thought it'd be fun. So you bend this way, and I don't know if, let me see if I can let you guys see what's in there. Isn't that cool? You look in and you can see the fairy scene. So that's kind of cool. You look in these little eye holes, and then it just folds flat again like this, and you put it back in the envelope. So they're very interactive books. They're fun. They bring out imagination in kiddos and adults. I have to say, I love these books. I know that they're for kids, but I think they're so beautiful. Look at this gem and all the silver embossing on it. It's just a beautiful book. But that's Fairyopolis. And then we have the Field Guide to Fairies. We have 3 of these fairy books. If you see, hold on. There's the scene, and there's a fairy in the trees. And this has more of like how to find fairies. And then it kind of takes a journal standpoint. All of these books, all of the ology books, regardless of which ology they are. I'll have to find the rest of them. We have them in a box somewhere. I think in the attic. I'll have to go up in the attic and look for them because I think you guys would enjoy looking at them, you know, once a week or something, just to do something a little different. There's another pop-up scene. But like this one says, the playwright William Shakespeare enjoyed writing fairies into his stage plays. He mixed up fairy folklore and literature with a good dose of imagination to bring us Puck, the mischievous hobgoblin, Ariel, the storm fairy, and Queen Mab, an elf so tiny she could travel in an empty hazelnut. But Shakespeare's best-known fairy characters are Titania and Oberon, Queen and King of Fairyland. We meet them on the night of fairy nights, Midsummer's Eve, when the impossible becomes possible. Here, Titania dozes on the bank of flowers, exhausted after quarreling with her husband over a mortal child they both wanted to keep. So it's just fun. They're fun books. They're really beautifully done. The illustrations are beautiful. The little stories are beautiful. This one has a lot of legends and folklore from around the world in it. And I mean, I've had these books for years. I know I bought them when my kids were preteens, but we've managed to keep them in good condition. So this one, I think, goes this way. No, it goes this way. There we go. Look at the horse waves. Aren't they beautiful? It's just a lot of fun. It's fun for the kids. It's fun for adults. And then we have this one, which is equally as beautiful as a flower fairy. And if you look at that centerpiece, it is, what do they call that? I know the word, but I'm having trouble thinking of it. It's not a hologram. Is it a hologram? I don't think so. I know what this is called, but I can't think of it. But you can see the gold embossing. It's just a beautiful book. And this one follows a similar, as to the first one, a similar journal style. So here's like some pictures that are supposed to have fairies in them. And then here's another beautiful pop-up scene. So pretty. And it says in the center there, it says, fairy houses are cleverly concealed. So this is supposed to be an example of a fairy house. And it tells you, like, careful observation has led me to believe that the treetops are a favored place for fairies to make their homes. And I have discovered that the oak in particular is a popular location. The mighty oak lives for hundreds of years and has provided a safe home for many generations of tree fairies. Indeed, its leafy foliage makes an excellent shelter for a fairy house. And then you have like a little interactive thing right here, and then how to spot a tree fairy right here. Here, let me move this over. Here's another interactive part on how to spot a tree fairy. So these are just really cool books. If your kids have good imaginations and they're into stuff like this, these are really cool books. Here's another pop-up scene showing a fairy house. You see how beautifully these books are done. They are so beautiful. And then this little card here opens up to show another fairy house. It's got lots of, this is very pretty. It's a big old flower pop-up scene. I just thought this would be interesting. I don't know if you guys have ever seen these ology books, but I will look for the box that has the rest of the ology books in it, because I think they'd be interesting to go through. Here's another pop-up scene, 3D scene. It's not really a pop-up, this one's more of a 3D scene. And then here's another one. This one is all pop-ups and done really beautifully. You can see how vibrant the colors are, how beautiful they are. And that little sign in there says, if you look carefully, you might spot the fairy king and queen. Be sure to pay attention to all crevices and hollows. Look closely for any tiny footprints close to water. Sparkly paths show that fairies have recently passed by. And then here's another scene on this page. It's a little camera that if you turn it, I think, yeah, there we go. It changes the scene a little bit. And then there's a newspaper here. I don't know if this is actually a newspaper article that someone copied or if it's fake. I don't know. It says it was Wednesday, October 8th, 1930. And it says, controversy surrounds over local fairy photograph. Quite a stir was caused today in the town of Croydon, where local artist Cicely Mary Barker is understood to have captured on camera an image of a fairy. Miss Barker is known for her delicate and tasteful paintings of flower fairies and is the author of several little books about them. Until this day, it has been assumed the lady invented these delightful creatures as whimsical flight of fancy. Readers, we must now ask ourselves whether Miss Barker recorded her fairies directly from nature. We have established that the artist was taking photographs of the trees, shrubs, and flowers as reference material for her work in a secluded glade in the local area of outstanding natural beauty. It is said that the camera recorded an image of a lone fairy figure on a tree branch. What an amazing sight. So you can see, this is supposed to be the picture of the fairy, this here. And if you turn it, the fairy moves. The wings move. So anyway, these are just really fabulous books. They're really beautiful. I just wanted to show them to you guys. They run about anywhere from, I don't know what they run now, because these are, even though they look new, these are quite old actually. We bought these. I want to say we started buying the ology books when my kids were maybe 7 or 8. I mean, they were fairly young when we started buying these, and we've just kept them in excellent condition. There isn't a date on them. But they run anywhere between $20 and $25. Like this one in the U.S. is $22.99. Canada is $24. And the U.K. is $17.99. This one here that I showed you guys is, I actually got this, it was $16.99, but I got it from a used bookstore, even though it's in excellent, perfect condition, for $7.98. So that was a good deal. And then this one, which is my favorite, is just so pretty, was $19.99. So you can see they're just gorgeous books. And then, like I said, we have wizardology and dragonology and piratology and Egyptology and oceanology. We have all these books, and they're so fun. They're so interactive. I was thinking we might do a story time, like I would pick a book and read a chapter once a week to you guys, just to kind of change it up. So if you're into that, let me know. I have like the Spirit Animals series of books. I have How to Train Your Dragon. I have some Harry Potter books. I have Spirit Animals, by the way, is a great series. I have, it's sort of a preteen series, but it's really fun. Most of the books that we have, because my kids were very imaginative and into a lot of, fantasy stuff, most of the books that we have for them are fantasy books, but I can definitely get into the attic and get some more books for you guys. I would love to read the Spirit Animal series. That's just a great series. I also have Where the Red Fern Grows, which is one of my absolute all-time favorite books. My 5th grade teacher read it to us over the course of a couple months. She read like a little bit a day. And I used to I just couldn't wait to hear the rest of the story. So if you haven't heard Where the Red Fern Grows, put in the comments that that's the one you want me to read, because that is a fabulous book. It's absolutely wonderful. It's just an amazing book. It's an amazing story. I love it. It was made into a movie, but I don't think the movie does the book justice at all. So let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. We could do like a Reborn story time and read a chapter once a week. Like we could set up Tuesdays for our story time or Fridays or whatever. Let me know what you guys think of that. And let me know if you want to see the other ology books, because these are so fun. These are so beautiful, so well done. Just absolutely gorgeous books. And if you have a kid who has a great imagination, who wants to get books that can be collector's editions, you definitely want to get these ology books, because they are. And again, I'll tell you what they have for other books for the ology series before we hang up. So like I said, there's oceanology, which we have, mythology, which we have. We don't have Egyptology. There's 2 dragonology books, 2 wizardology books. There's 2 piratology books. There's the Feriopolis. There's another mythology book and another Egyptology book. And I think there's probably more than those. Let's see what this says here. So there's spyology, dinosaurology, illusionology, nightology. These are all ones we don't have. Alienology, ghostology, vampirology, and piratology. So we have the piratology. We don't have any of these. We have this one, the wizardology. We have, what is that one? I'm trying to see what ology that is. Mobsterology. We don't have mobsterology. We have some of the stuff my kids were into. I had one kid who was into wizards and dragons. I had another kid who was into fairies. So we have, but here's a list of some of the books that they have. Let me go a little closer so you guys can see them. And they're all really beautifully done and just really fun. So if you're looking for a series to get for your kids that will probably gain value, although I'm not sure that they'll gain value, I can imagine if you keep these in excellent condition, these would be wonderful books to pass on to grandchildren. I don't think we'll have grandchildren, but I like looking at them, so I save them. But anyway, here's, just something different I wanted to share with you guys. And let me know about reading a story, because I would love to read to you guys. I love to read. I really want to read you guys Where the Red Fern Grows, if that's something you'd be interested in. So please let me know. And if not, we have spirit animals. I just thought we could do a bunch of different things on this channel to kind of make this a place of relaxation and peace and tranquility. We have the babies, and we can also have other things like oils, cooking. I've done some cooking videos. We can make it an all-encompassing channel. So let me know if you'd like to hear a story, okay? Because I would love to read a story to you guys. I think that would be very relaxing. You can sit down and hold your babies and do Reborn story time. I think that would be fun. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great day. Love you. Bye.